What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA BUZ. Michael Bisping and Paul Felder are pushing back strongly against the UFC's increasing reliance on interim championship belts, arguing that the trend is slowly eroding the sense of true dominance that once defined the sport. Felder, in particular, says this is something he has deeply missed over the past few years, as the line between undisputed champions and temporary title holders continues to blur. Their discussion comes at a time when multiple divisions are stuck in uncertainty. Ilia Topuria is confirmed to be out of competition for several more months, a situation that has already prompted the UFC to move forward with an interim lightweight title. Meanwhile, the heavyweight division faces a similar issue, with Tom Aspinall sidelined after a serious eye poke incident that is expected to keep him out for the foreseeable future. Given this backdrop, speculation has intensified that the UFC may introduce yet another interim belt, potentially at heavyweight, with Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane rumored as a possible matchup, although nothing has been made official. Felder's core concern is that the promotion has become too quick to create interim titles whenever a champion is temporarily unavailable, even if the layoff is relatively short. In his view, this constant use of interim belts strips champions like Topuria and Aspinall of the aura that comes with clear, unquestioned dominance. He argues that when belts are constantly being duplicated, vacated, or merged, the stakes feel lower, and even major superfights lose some of their excitement. Both Felder and Bisping reflect nostalgically on an era when reigning champions ruled their divisions without debate. Felder points to fighters like Anderson Silva as examples of champions who carried an undeniable presence, fighters who entered every bout with the feeling that they simply could not be beaten. He believes Ilia Topuria has the potential to become that kind of dominant figure, as does Aspinall if he returns healthy and resumes his trajectory. Felder emphasizes that injuries like Aspinall's eye issue cannot be rushed, as even light training poses risks. However, he warns that repeatedly filling these gaps with interim belts weakens the meaning of the championship itself. For him, the magic of the sport lies in having a single, reigning champion, someone whose dominance defines an era, not someone sharing a title by circumstance. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Dana White did not hold back when addressing Islam Makhachev's decision to publicly reveal details about potential fight plans involving Michael Morales. For weeks, the MMA world had been buzzing with speculation over who would emerge as Islam's next title challenger at welterweight. Fans and analysts debated whether the undefeated and dangerous rising contender Michael Morales would get the opportunity, or if former champion Kamaru Usman would once again find himself in the title picture. The uncertainty kept the division active and fueled constant discussion across the sport. That intrigue, however, was disrupted when Makhachev confirmed during a Russian interview that the UFC had already offered him a fight against Morales for a January bout. The revelation immediately drew attention, but it also sparked frustration from UFC President Dana White. Known for his strict stance on controlling fight announcements, White has long criticized fighters for sharing information before the promotion is ready to make anything official, and this situation was no exception. During a recent Instagram live session, White expressed clear disappointment over fighters speaking prematurely. While he stopped short of confirming or denying the existence of the Morales fight offer, his irritation was unmistakable. White emphasized that leaking internal discussions undermines the UFC's ability to manage announcements, build suspense, and deliver surprises on its own terms. From his perspective, these moments are carefully planned, and unapproved disclosures disrupt the promotional process. The tension between the promotion and its fighters is nothing new. But situations like this only intensify the spotlight on Islam's future at welterweight. White's reaction has added another layer of intrigue to an already compelling title picture, leaving fans to speculate whether Morales is truly next in line or if another contender could still emerge. As anticipation continues to build, the question remains: who should Islam Makhachev face in his first welterweight title defense? Can Michael Morales pose a legitimate threat to one of the most dominant champions in the sport today, or is the experience of a veteran contender the bigger test? With no official announcement yet, the division remains wide open, and all eyes are now on the UFC's next move as the story continues to unfold. Move on to another news. Dana White summed it up bluntly, saying there are hardly any real secrets left in the sport anymore. In his view, too many people feel the need to talk simply to appear informed, and as a result, information leaks constantly. Fighters and those around them often struggle to keep quiet, and that inability to stay silent repeatedly creates unnecessary drama and confusion. Adding an unexpected twist to the ongoing heavyweight discussion, Michael Bisping recently caught fans off guard by changing his stance on Tom Aspinall. For weeks, Bisping had been one of Aspinall's most vocal defenders throughout the eye poke controversy. That support stemmed not only from their shared background as English fighters, but also from Bisping's deep personal experience with eye injuries during his own career. Few people understand the seriousness of that type of damage better than he does. However, Bisping has now shifted gears and delivered some surprisingly harsh criticism. He believes Aspinall is handling the situation poorly by flooding social media with videos from doctor visits, scans, and medical updates. Aspinall appears determined to prove that the eye poke was real, the injury legitimate, and that he did not quit. While the intention may be to clear his name, Bisping argues that the strategy is backfiring. From Bisping's perspective, the more Aspinall posts, the more attention he gives to the controversy. Instead of moving forward like a champion, it can come across as an attempt to convince doubters. Coming from a former champion who fought much of his career with only one functioning eye, that criticism carries significant weight. Both Bisping and Paul Felder believe this is not what fans want to hear from a heavyweight champion of the world. They argue that audiences respect honesty and frustration, but not repeated explanations. People want to hear a champion say the situation is aggravating, that recovery is the priority, and that the focus is on returning as soon as doctors allow. They acknowledge how difficult it is to move on when critics are questioning someone's toughness and labeling them a quitter, especially when that person is a reigning heavyweight champion. Still, their advice is clear: recover, get back to training, and let performance do the talking. Bisping even suggests embracing the role of the villain if necessary, because nothing changes opinions faster than showing up, knocking out a top contender, and owning the moment on the microphone. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has revealed that he was recently offered a fight against undefeated contender Michael Morales for a January date, but ultimately chose to turn it down. In a wide-ranging interview with a Russian media outlet, Makhachev addressed his future plans, potential matchups across divisions, and ongoing tensions with Ilia Topuria, offering clarity on several topics that have fueled speculation within the MMA community. Makhachev explained that the January offer was simply unrealistic. He had just completed a demanding 3-month training camp and would have been forced to immediately re-enter preparation without sufficient recovery time. Instead, he informed the UFC that he intends to return after Ramadan, targeting a comeback sometime between April and June. While declining the bout, Makhachev acknowledged that Morales is a strong opponent, pointing out that his undefeated record separates him from other contenders who have suffered recent losses. In Islam's view, Morales is currently on the best run among available challengers. During the interview, Makhachev also shared insights into conversations he has had with fellow fighters. He revealed that he recently spoke with Petr Yan in Dubai ahead of Merab Dvalishvili's rematch, praising Yan for training extensively with wrestlers in Dagestan to correct past mistakes. Islam believes that if a third fight between Yan and Dvalishvili were to happen, Yan would be far better prepared to neutralize Merab's wrestling-heavy approach. When discussing Umar Nurmagomedov, Makhachev suggested that a rematch with Dvalishvili would be more compelling than a bout between Umar and Yan. He emphasized that Umar should focus on avenging his previous loss, and expressed confidence that Umar possesses the skills needed to outmaneuver the former champion. Turning to other welterweight contenders, Makhachev described Kamaru Usman as his most uncomfortable matchup, while making it clear that he has no issue fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov if the UFC presents the opportunity. However, he noted that Shavkat has been inactive for over a year and would need to secure another win before earning a title shot. Makhachev also addressed growing tension with Ilia Topuria, expressing confusion over what he perceives as hostility coming from Topuria's side. He denied any disrespect from his team and referenced a recent incident involving Tagir Ulanbekov, stating that Topuria's behavior crossed a line. While acknowledging Topuria's reputation as a grappler, Makhachev questioned that narrative and said the two will resolve their issues face-to-face when the time comes. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier has shared high praise for both Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria amid the growing tension between the two elite contenders. Over the past several weeks, fans have witnessed an ongoing back and forth between Tsarukyan and Topuria, largely centered on title opportunities and unresolved grievances within the lightweight division. Tsarukyan has voiced frustration over not receiving a title shot, while Topuria has responded by stating he has no intention of offering Arman an opportunity, citing lingering issues connected to the Islam Makhachev situation from nearly a year ago. Despite the heated exchanges, Daniel Cormier believes the rivalry is inevitable and potentially one of the most compelling matchups in the sport. Speaking in an interview with Red Corner MMA while in Thailand, Cormier expressed nothing but respect for both fighters and emphasized their elite status. He praised Tsarukyan for staying active and consistently proving himself against top competition, even going as far as calling him the best lightweight in the world following Makhachev's departure from the division. Cormier highlighted Arman's size, strength, and physicality, noting his impressive performance against Dan Hooker as further evidence of his championship-level ability. Cormier was equally complimentary toward Ilia Topuria, describing him as a tremendous champion and placing both men at the very top of the lightweight rankings. While acknowledging other exciting contenders in the division, Cormier explained that Tsarukyan and Topuria possess not only elite skill sets, but also the kind of tension and narrative that could build into a truly special fight. In his view, it is a matchup that needs to happen at some point. Additional praise for Topuria came from former UFC champion Urijah Faber, who suggested that Ilia has the potential to become a rare triple champion. Faber pointed to Topuria's power, technical ability, and fighting spirit, noting that his skill set could translate effectively across multiple weight classes. Drawing from his own experience competing in different divisions, Faber emphasized that while physical attributes change with weight, success ultimately comes down to technique, mindset, and willpower qualities he believes Topuria clearly possesses. Meanwhile, footage has surfaced of Topuria training alongside Merab Dvalishvili in Spain, including clips of the two testing their punching power on a UFC performance machine. Topuria recorded a higher score than Dvalishvili, further fueling fan discussion. The week also featured a lighthearted moment when Topuria and Dvalishvili called Aljamain Sterling on Christmas Day, offering holiday wishes and showcasing the camaraderie shared among elite fighters. Together, these moments underline Topuria's growing presence across divisions and reinforce Cormier's belief that a future showdown between him and Tsarukyan could define the next era of the lightweight division. Move on to another news. Speculation is growing that former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whitaker could be preparing for a major shift in his career, with a possible move to the light heavyweight division looming ahead of 2026. At the moment, Whitaker's next fight remains unclear. The last time he competed inside the octagon was in July, and he is currently coming off back-to-back losses against Reinier de Ritter and Khamzat Chimaev. Naturally, questions have emerged about what the next chapter looks like for one of the most respected veterans in the sport. Earlier this year, Whitaker publicly called out Sean Strickland for a potential matchup on the proposed White House card. However, that plan never materialized, as Strickland has since booked a fight against Anthony Hernandez. With that door closed, attention has turned toward Whitaker's long-term plans. During a recent episode of the MMA Arcade podcast, Whitaker provided a significant update on his future. He revealed that he is targeting a return to the UFC around mid-2026 and is currently taking time to develop new skills and refine different aspects of his game. More notably, Whitaker admitted that he is seriously considering moving up to the light heavyweight division rather than remaining at middleweight. Whitaker explained that he has grown into a bigger frame and is open to trying something different at this stage of his career. Addressing concerns about his height, he dismissed the criticism, pointing out that he has spent much of his career facing opponents who already had height and reach advantages over him. In his view, moving to light heavyweight would not dramatically change that dynamic, as he is accustomed to overcoming size disparities. While he emphasized that the decision is not yet final, Whitaker acknowledged that experimenting with a new weight class could offer renewed motivation and fresh opportunities. He framed the situation as a problem for next year's Rob, suggesting that the idea remains under active consideration rather than a confirmed move. Reaction from the MMA community has been mixed but largely supportive. Some fans argue that Whitaker's technical skill set, speed, and experience could translate well to a division that many consider thinner than middleweight. Potential matchups, such as a bout against Dominic Reyes, have already been floated as intriguing tests. Others caution that Whitaker has historically struggled against taller opponents and tends to be a head-focused striker, which could pose challenges against naturally larger fighters at 205 pounds. Even so, many believe the move could rejuvenate Whitaker's career. With his championship experience, elite fundamentals, and proven toughness, a transition to light heavyweight could present a realistic path toward new high-profile matchups and possibly another title run in a different division. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan has sparked fresh speculation about Alex Pereira's future after revealing rumors surrounding the former champion's next opponent. Pereira had previously been linked to a potential showdown with Jon Jones on the highly anticipated UFC White House card. However, after Pereira publicly stated that the White House event was no longer an option for him, questions immediately surfaced about whether he still planned to make the jump to heavyweight. According to Rogan, the move to heavyweight is very much still in play. During a recent discussion, Rogan shared that he has heard considerable chatter, suggesting Pereira's next fight could come against Cyril Gane. With interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall expected to be sidelined for an extended period due to eye surgery, the timing could open the door for Gane to face a new opponent, and Pereira's name has reportedly entered that conversation. Rogan admitted that he has not personally spoken to Dana White about the matchup and could not confirm how serious the discussions are. Still, he emphasized that the idea is far from unrealistic. Rogan noted that Pereira currently weighs over 240 pounds and has the kind of power that can translate to the heavyweight division without question. In Rogan's view, Pereira possesses knockout power, capable of stopping any heavyweight, pointing out that his striking force is among the hardest ever recorded in the UFC. While Rogan acknowledged that some of this information remains rumor-based, he also stressed that his sources extend well beyond official channels. Given his close connections within the MMA world, the chatter he referenced may hold real substance. For now, the potential matchup remains speculative, but it has already captured the attention of fans who are eager to see how Pereira's elite striking would fare against a technician like Gane. If the fight does come together, it would represent a major stylistic clash and a defining moment in Pereira's career at heavyweight. Fans are already debating who would have the advantage in such a matchup, with opinions split between Gane's movement and Pereira's devastating power. Adding to the intrigue, Pereira recently shared footage of himself lightly sparring with his son, suggesting that the foot fracture he suffered in October is healing well and nearing full recovery. This development is notable given his decision to step away from the White House card, leading some to speculate that negotiations, rather than injury, may have played a role. Pereira has publicly criticized the UFC in the past, before later claiming his social media was compromised, leaving the situation open-ended. As the date approaches, it remains to be seen whether Pereira's plans shift once again or if a heavyweight debut against Gane truly lies ahead.